our retirement home Pokemon team. Hey, I want you to gather around. It's Coach here, and I heard about that tough loss to the very loud Boomers last week. Doggone it, they're loud. They boom, they even creak a little bit, and they complain. I get it. But listen, I didn't win a Lombardi until I was 60 years old. 60, that's basically a legendary Pokemon evolution stage. So if you're sitting there thinking age is a problem, nope. Age is a power. Age is a wisdom. Age is when you finally unlock the good moves. Now, let's talk about your amazing squad, because I've been scouting you like it's the NFL draft mixed with the Indigo League. I mean, Dr. Geo, that's your Patrick Mahomes right there. Cool under pressure, throwing curveballs nobody expects, pulling off plays that make the nurses drop their applesauce. If Mahomes were a Pokemon, he'd be something like Alakazam mixed with Charizard. Smart, fiery, unpredictable, and somehow breaking physics every time he attacks. That's Dr. Geo, your quarterback, your ace. I got this, guys. All right, Aki. Oh boy, that's your Tyreek Hill. Fast, sneaky, hard to catch. If Tyreek were a Pokemon, he'd be Jolteon with a jet engine strapped to it. Quick attack, agility, double team, boom, 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 gone. Hey, Aki's the one who zips around the battlefield before the Shuppet detectives even know what hit him. And Dawson, well, I like that name, Lenny boy. That's your Coach Spags, the mastermind, the defensive wizard, the guy who looks at the Shuppet and says, "Not today, Ghost Boy. If Spags were a Pokemon, he'd be Metagross." That's right, steel trap mind, unshakable. Always 3 steps ahead. Dawson's the one drawing up the plays, calling the counters, and keeping the entire team from getting spooked by a bunch of ghost types, or soon-to-be ghost types. Now listen, you got the Shuppet detectives this week. Ghost Pokemon, tricky, floaty, think they're clever, but you've got experience. You've got grit. You've got more combined wisdom than the entire Pokedex. Hey, and you've got a team that looks like it was built in a lab by Professor Oak and Clark Hunt. So here's what I want you to do. Celebrate like I do with a cheeseburger, maybe some applesauce on the side. Whatever fires you up. Then get out there, tighten those Velcro sneakers, adjust those bifocals, and show those Shuppets what happens when a retirement home goes full Super Bowl mode. That's right. You're not done. You're not out. You're not old. You are legendary. That's right. Get those chariots ready. Now get out there and win that battle. Hey, that's Coach's orders. I can't wait to hear how this goes. With that, time's yours. Let's go, let's go, let's go. You've got this. I believe in you. Bye-bye.
What's going on, fellas? Welcome to coverage for the Week 7 Super Show. The last Super Show of the normal format for the regular season. We have Gil back on today. This man always has a seat at our table. We were scheduled to have the 65-year-old, 16-year-old Teresa on with us. We were scheduled to have convicted felon King Clyde and old man JJ Galzinski. And all 3 did not come through. So we're going to make the most of it. Only consistent fellas here on coverage tonight. Now into the power rankings. First up, we have the aftermath of the potential plausible finals matchup. We had Shuppet Detectives duke it out with the Fluttermane Pirates in a series where some would say the chalk, the bigger name players, came out on top on just about every game in that series, resulting in the Shuppet Detectives winning that series 5-3. As a result, they're firmly back in first place in these power rankings, and I don't think anybody else can really say otherwise. So, granted, somebody that has to rank both teams. In second place, clearly we have the Flutter Main Pirates with their three biggest named players winning last week and showing that they still have a fighting chance. Beyond that, that's where it starts to get a little bit cloudier. At this point, I've got Cooking with the Boys, which I think has a clear argument here for third. Beyond that, though, this is where we start to get into the territory of teams that are questionable and fighting for this last playoff spot. So, in fourth place for me, surprisingly, for some people, I have the Retirement Home. I've got them vaulted over the Very Loud Friedels. To me, both the Retirement Home and the Very Loud Friedels aren't all that impressive. I think that they're both kind of flawed teams. However, I think that the energy surrounding the Retirement Home, I think, is great. I think that they have a cohesive team. I think that they're kind of fucked in terms of the scheduling timeline based on who they're playing this week. But if I had to go based on the team, like if these two teams were to go head to head, I think I have a little bit more confidence in the Retirement Home and the ball that they're playing right now. In five, the Very Loud Friedels. I think that they're trending in the wrong direction. As far as I know, I don't think they've won a game in at least 3 weeks now. So they're rowing in the wrong direction. I'm hearing that there's some stuff going behind the scenes there. And then another team I'm hearing about stuff behind the scenes is Pokemon of the Mediocre. I think this is like kind of like a dead. These final three teams, including my own, are all kind of dead activity. Just people just play their game and minimal cohesion, really. So you got Pokemon of the Mediocre. This team's been ice cold for a while now, about a month and a half, I'd reckon. But probably the best of what's left. Then Roblox War episode Who Cares, who surprisingly, they won the series 4-3, but they didn't get awarded 2 points because Teresa, just like he failed to properly see this, commitment through. He showed up to his game. Well, he didn't schedule for a game last week. He basically shot a booty call message to his opponent, McLogno, with 30 minutes left in the scheduling allotment last week. And the game didn't count for either side. So what was normally a 8-game schedule had only a 7-game schedule. And then obviously last, I'd put my own team, Stand and Bang. I think we're I don't know, these Spartans are dropping by the week. It seems like it's me, a large mongoose, sometimes Fate, and then a rotating cast of characters. I don't know, it's just we're playing shorthanded over here. But with that said, I'm going to pass it off to the reinvigorated new profile picture wielding John Friede. John, you're net.
All right, people. Week 7. Not going to spend all day on this because, at this point, it's pretty obvious what the good teams are, what the bad teams are. S tiers, same old, same old. Shuppet Detective, Flutter Main Pirates. But interestingly, we have the power gap skip on down to the B tier, Cooking with the Boys. But they managed to end up with the same record as Flutter Main Pirates right now. So, is it really fair of me to put them down here and them up top? Who's to say? Honestly, I still think that Cooking with the Boys just seemed way worse overall, just based off the eye test. Pirates did just have to go off facing the Detectives last week. So, Again, there's always the weird aspect of that they're both trying to conceal their tech for playoffs in all likelihood. Can't really blame everything on that, but still, I think cooking with the boys probably a step below. That's just what I think. And then we got C tier. The boys fighting for the last slot in playoffs. Boomers, my own team, and retirement home. I mean, God, last week we had to face Pokemon of the mediocre, and we could barely scrape together a tie. Like, my team is chopped, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to anybody out there listening that was hoping that I could paint our team in a positive light. If we can't convincingly beat Pokemon of the mediocre, I don't know if we can even beat Stand and Bang this week. If we can't beat them, we don't deserve the slot. We're not going to get the slot in playoffs. We won't deserve it. So we already lost the first game too. Like, come on, guys. We're C tier, solid C tier. Retirement home, definitely a real possibility at snaking in over us. I'll have to never show my face in the team server again where that come to pass. But still, moving past that, the bottom three teams, absolute garbage. Nothing new there. Poop crap permanently. And that's the end of it.
All right, Gil, you're net.
All right. Well, let's start from the bottom. We got. Thank God I'm not on this team tier. I sure wonder what three teams I have at the bottom. I mean, let's start with Stand and Bang. I mean, 6 weeks and 0 wins. I don't know how you even do that. Even my team from Resurgence 1, which was terrible, still had a series win. I mean, the two ties. I mean, who would tie to such a shit team? Am I right? I mean, who would possibly tie this team? Please ignore that my team tied this team. I'm not proud of it at all. And losing to Roblox, but Roblox also doesn't win. I mean, I don't even know how that happens. It's bad when you lose to Roblox, but Roblox also don't win. Like, that just goes to show how bad these two teams are. And then Pokemon are the mediocre. I mean, nothing more needs to be said. I mean, like, this team's just dead in the water. And then big power gap, obviously, to the two teams fighting for the fourth playoff spot. I think Cooking with the Boys could technically, mathematically be eliminated. They would have to get swept. Retirement Home would have to sweep us. And then Boomers would also have to win their series while they're at it. Very unlikely. So it really is just Boomers and Retirement Home fighting for the final slot. I have Boomers ahead because Stand and Bang is an easier fixture than Shop It Detectives. But Retirement Home do have more momentum going into this final week after mids. Apparently, getting How in was the greatest thing to ever happen to this team. They just started winning series. How is like 3-0. I mean, they're cooking up there. Or I guess down there. I mean, my team's at the top, right? I'm looking down at all of these teams. I mean, it's not going to be the easiest fixture, that's for sure. But, I mean, I really hope we win. I don't want to lose to Retirement Home. A tier Cooks. Nothing more needs to be said. They tied us. They're doing well. They're basically locked for playoffs. And then the Pirates in S tier. I think they're a threat. I think it really is us and Pirates as the title contenders here. Not that Cooks or whatever team finishes in fourth couldn't win, but it's definitely us too as the favorites. So that's my power rankings.
All right. With that said, let's get into the matchups.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Shop It Detectives have cracked the case. Dungeon Master Clay 44, I know what you are. You're foolproof plan to take over PDT has been foiled. The mastermind tried to plan out a campaign to massacre the greatest competition, but unlike Stand and Bang, the Shumpets we use our superior detective work to sniff out and slay the false Hydra and beat the pirates that were disrupting the local trade routes. I can fucking rip this, please. Just die, Fluttermane, I beg. That'll do. That'll fucking do. This entire video is just a reminder that, you guys are letting a fucking TCG player, if you're watching this video, there's like a 95% chance that you're losing. You're getting outperformed by a TCG player. I mean, come on, guys. You can do better than that, right? But yeah. The Fluttermane Pirates have been stopped, temporarily at least. Geo, you're next, buddy.
All right, and we've got, for our first matchup, the Shuppet Detectives versus the Old Fuckers, the Retirement Home, who are making the playoffs, by the way. I'm just doing the John Freeday method for this round. Whichever player has a better record, I'm picking. In ADV, have Garf versus Brooks. You didn't really have to check that when I knew who had the better record. Garf wins. That's 1-0. DPP. I didn't do it for this one because my man Dr. Geo is on the Whiz Cash Wednesday. Who win on Wednesday. Pick them. 1-1. In Black-White, Keith Sheldon, who as far as I remember was 0-1, versus Hal Bun Buns, who was 3-0. It's a 1-2 lead for the old bastards, and ORAS, I've got the Rage. I forgot to check the records on this one, so I'm picking the Rage. In the first of 3 USUM games, and thank goodness I'm not talking about them, I've got not a damn. Beating Gus Money and Sword and Shield. Zeb Strike 'em Down is 0, 5, and 1, with the 5 being luck and the 0 being wins. Got him winning. In the second USUM match, Fortune versus S.H. William, I got Schwilliam winning that one. And in the last slot, Necro Wolves wins. That's a 4-4 tie. John Freeday, take it from here.
Outstanding, soldier. Wow. Okay, so big game for the Retirement Home. They still need to win to make playoffs, and they got to face the number 1 team, which hopefully they can bet on them just trying to take it easy. They're already locked in, maybe they can just get some free wins and somehow make it. Well, let's dive in and see who's really going to come out on top. So, ADV. Garf with the pocket ADV tier slot here, and Brooks. Maybe this is a sign of them phoning it in for the last week. If they're putting Garf in ADV, I don't know. Maybe we get some inside information on that. But I'm going to give it to Brooks. We see another Skarn Bliss matchup with the Metacham that somehow just has 0 answers on the other side. A lot of these ADV drafts in this tournament just said, you know what, I'll just get swept by Metacham. It's all good. I don't even care. But the secret weapon is in the hands of Brooks with the Blaziken. The ultimate Skarn Bliss counter. Oh my god.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, he has the Doug trio to get Blaziken after it gets 1 kill, but look, it's like Lou always says, the dominoes are going to start falling down. You take 1 piece out of that equation, and I think Brooks is going to go crazy. 1-0, Retirement Home. Now, another heavyweight DPP match. Somehow all the best players are just playing DPP in this final week. Say what you want about if Shuppet Detectives are going to be phoning it in. We know these we know Gil is going to be fighting for his honor against Dr. Gio here to have one of the better records in DPP. So, God, have you seen the same kind of matchup though with like the Infernape Bronzong team everybody has against the Zapdos Shaman Snorlax? Gio just runs this team every single week. The other DPP teams must be trash, or maybe he just really likes this one. I don't know. But we look at this team, and the weaknesses mainly that we've come to find out are, Aggron as the steel type, and then not a whole lot of hazard setters going on here. It's just the Nidoqueen. So then we look at Gale's side. He doesn't really have anything super crazy to take advantage of those weaknesses. Like he got Sandslash, garbage Sandslash as the spinner. We saw it in the Sandvale matchup where it was Jesus, but we're not in Tyranitar Sand Funhouse anymore. We're just playing the normal game with no tricks. And then no Dragon type to take advantage of garbage Aggron. I think I'm gonna give that to Geo. He's got the Zapdos too. Didn't even mention the Zapdos. I always gotta glaze Zapdos in DPP. We know this is the best Pokemon in DPP now, but he's got it. I think Geo's gonna take it home. Retirement home 2-0. Now, Black and White, Keith Sheldon versus How Buns. Guys, How Buns is the farthest thing from Buns at this game. We've seen his work in this tournament. As soon as he got picked up in mids, he's brought about a new era for the retirement home. He might have single-handedly put them in the B tier on the power rankings. I gotta give it to How Buns. He's also got this crazy Garchomp Sand team, Alakazam. It seems really great except for the Fortress, but if you just squint your eyes, it just looks like a demon team. Into Keith, what Keith has with his garbage bottom half of his roster, nah. How Buns taking it to 3-0 for retirement home. Ooh. Okay, now we look into some real obstacles for the retirement home here. The Rage 77 no less. Against Godly. Guys, I'd like to bring to your attention now how many 4 times Ice Week Pokemon are in the starting roster for the retirement home right now. Look at all these
Bro,
Garchomps. These are the
we have to
Garchomp
fight 4
lovers.
Garchomps. Yeah, exactly.
Guys,
They really like that
Ver-
Pokemon, don't they?
You guys better load up on your hidden power ices because it's gonna go down. You're gonna get swept by Garchomp. It's looking like 2 times so far. Godly's got the Garchomp, and guys, I thought this. Okay, for a second, I thought this was Togekiss in DPP. I don't know why, but real ones know that that's the best Pokemon in DPP, second to Zapdos. But anyways, that has nothing to do with this now. But Godly
Keep that on the
with the
down low.
Garchomp.
Keep that on the down low.
And guys, pretend you didn't hear that, but if you want to win in DPP, that's what you got to get. Anyways, it's still good ORAS Pokemon too. So 4-0, retirement home, Shuba Detective 0. Usum, Gus Money against not a damn, not Adam. Honestly, as much as I would like to spend this one towards the retirement home once again, I'm looking at like Zygarde, and I'm just looking at nothing on the other side. In Buzzwole, with the Ice Punch and Prey, I want to see that thing get deleted by Hidden Power Flying though. Now you can't turn that one into a Z move, but past that, it's just completely free for the Zygarde. You do kind of have to throw Jirachi into the Latios every time. Maybe you can cheat that with a Z Shadow Ball or something. I don't know. I think overall Gus Money has the offensive threats, and the answers on not Adam's side are just not very good. Oh, overall, got to give this one to Gus Money. Wow, 4-1 Shuba Detectives. They're still in this for the tie. So let's see. In the Sword and Shield game, what happens? Another Garchomp. Oh my god. Against Zeb Strike Him Down. So I don't does anybody I don't even know what this guy's name is on the bottom. I don't know if I've ever seen him in my life. This might be one of the many people that got picked up at mids
He's been around.
as okay, that my fault, my fault. But yeah, let's see. I mean, this doesn't look great for the Garchomp, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you gotta get through Corviknight, and you got, like, a double Fairies type on the other side. All that being said,
And a
I'm still gonna go
Sneasel.
with the Garchomp team. Bro, the hardest counter to Garchomp is the Sneasel. But Cinderace, I got Cinderace on my Sword and Shield team, and that guy's, like, better than Garchomp every game. I don't know how, but I gotta give it to not Zeb's Drag Him Down. I'm not even gonna say that damn name. People, you gotta come up with better usernames if you want me to say your name out loud. I'm sorry. But speaking of a good username, Fortune. All right, whatever. But then we got Schwilliam Fantasy Sun on the bottom. Holy aura, dude! Another Garchomp team. Maximum aura. Like, god damn, dude, calm down. And we're playing 3 Usum games this week, but almost all your teams got a damn Garchomp on it, so gotta give them the win. And it doesn't stop there. The Landers Therian Mirror for the final game, just to throw in as many Ice Week 4 times Pokemon as you can. With Dawson, oh my god, Captain Battle against Necro Wolves. Fuck it, just give it to Dawson and make it a 7-1, almost clean sweep against Jumper Detectives. I think that seems like really plausible, if you ask me.
Bro really thinks we look like Brazil 2014. Okay.
You're gonna say that every time I say 7-1. Yeah, that is exactly what I think. Retirement Home is going to dominate and make it into the playoffs, and we're just gonna have to take them down. By we, I mean somebody besides me, because my team wouldn't make it in as a result. But anyway, does anybody still need to go? Or kind of just keep yapping until the next segment?
I'll reluctantly close the segment here. No, not right here, but I'll following my coverage. All right, so you stole my thunder for this first matchup. The Blaziken has the chance to go coast to coast here against Garf. Garf, great player. I don't really know of Garf as an ADV player. Brooks, a little bit of a jobber. This guy gets his ass beat by just about everybody, but he's playing better ball of late. And the matchup looks really good here for him. So if this Blaziken comes with a Salic and he just positions it right mid game, good God, off to the races. You know, he still has Celebi Arrow, so he's got the speed advantage. He's got physical threats to really pressure the Blissey. The biggest thing that is going to hold back Garf, he's not an ADV player, and he's got a do-nothing roster, so it really puts a lot of pressure on that Medicham and on that Dugtrio, but it's playing a bad matchup, so I think it's going to be a bad introduction to ADV for Garf. I've got Brooks surprisingly getting his team off to a 1-0 lead for like only the second time I think I've covered Brooks this whole season. Then we go to a heavyweight bout here in this DPP action. And I'll be honest, I hate the lower 4 for both of these teams. However, I really think that this Zapdos goes kind of bananas. I think that if Gil's going to take this game, he needs, ironically, Bronzong to really piece something together here. I like the Weavile as well. I think the Weavile is able to pressure both the Celebi and the Rotom specifically. You've got Blastoise, for the Inferni. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to agree with the previous panelists, and I'm gonna have to go with Dr. Geo. And then Gil, you're still gonna win somehow, and then you're gonna, fact check us after the video goes up. But nonetheless, I have the retirement home off to a surprising 2-0 start. Now, I think the Shuppet Detectives reach a low point. They're getting ready. They're off to an 0-2 start, and lo and behold, Keith Sheldon gets an attaboy. They call him off the Little League bench. They send him into the game, and he's playing one of the hottest players in the tour, Hal Vittori, after the trade to the retirement home. The retirement home is off to a 3-0 start. Can Shuppet Detectives start to reel it back in? I think so, at least here. I think the Rage is going to be able to inch it back here in this next spot. Mega Gallade against a team with some pretty dog water speed tiers. I'm gonna give this ORAS game to Rage off of this Mega Gallade alone. Just scout for the cheese between the Togekiss and the Jirachi. Just navigate those waters. But something like a Drain Punch, like Ice Punch. Yeah, I think he's got the tools to navigate this. So I've got retirement home up 3-1 halfway through. Then we've got Gus Money versus Not Adam. It can't be not a damn. I think that's just a result of Goose's Southern education talking, y'all.
I think it's not Adam, which makes him indeed Adam. So this is Adam. I think. That might be how that works.
I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. Whatever the fuck I said. not a damn.
not a damn. That's a better name, to be fair.
Oh, man. All right, yeah, that was good stuff there, Goose. I don't know how you pulled that one out. Fuck, this game is ugly right here. I hate you some, but I'm going to have to give this... Let's sit here and look at it real quick. Oh, bro, these teams fucking suck, man. Can they both lose? All right.
Double forfeit.
No, somebody's got to win. I'll give it to
the old
Gus
John
Money.
Friday method. Give it to the better record.
I'm gonna give it to Gus Money. My phone's going off the hook. I'm like, Psy Guy better wish that he was me. The Latinas are blowing up my phone this week. All right. With that said, though, Shuppets are down 3-2. Let's see if they can continue to claw it back. Oh, and then we get to this Sword and Shield game, and Friday already kind of broke it down really well. Zeb's got...
I did?
I think so, yeah. Look, Zeb's got double fairies into a Garchomp matchup. Also Galarian Moltres. Yeah, no, I think Zeb's got matchup here. I think Zeb's ties up this series 3-3. The back two for this set, we've got Nightmare versus Schwilliam, who you guys keep on tooting Schwilliam's horn. I don't even know who Schwilliam is.
I'll toot his horn all day long.
All right, well, bro, you're over here making.
Please don't continue that thought.
You're making SpongeBob references. You came into this world like after the SpongeBob movie or like when it was coming out. So like, pump the brakes, my guy. SpongeBob was like way on the downhill when you were even cognizant. It wasn't the same show. You're watching reruns. We were watching that live. All right. With that said, damn, I really didn't do good analysis for the end of the series. This is tough.
Hey, tune in next segment if you want good analysis.
All right. I'm gonna give it to Schwilliam. Look at that mega metric.
Hey.
Look at the mega metric. My boy Nightmare. I don't like picking against him, but I'm going to. All right. So that I believe is 4-3. The retirement home, who, mind you, are fearing retirement again if they lose this series. Culminating, we've got Necro Wolves versus Dawson. Oof, this is player diff right here. Unfortunately, as much as I would like to see the retirement home pull off the upset, I think Necro Wolves ties it. But there is news to be had. And the good news for the retirement home, as long as you can pull out a series tie, you have my word. Captain Lewis J, is guaranteeing a stand and bank win this week. And as long as you tie, which I think is your most likely scenario here, the retirement home will punch their ticket to the playoffs. How do you like that?
Pokemon Draft League player Sand has finally recorded his first win after downing a fierce Platonia team 4-0. Sand improves to 1-3 with a -9 differential. When reached for comment, Sandy proclaimed, "The Sand Predator is back. Rip Palippa and send me some trades."
Series 2. This one may be a bit of a stomp by conventional wisdom. A betting man would choose the Fluttermane Pirates to absolutely dominate Roblox War episode Who Cares. But, as always, we gotta take a look. Let's see, maybe if things are more than meets the eye. In ADV1, Vaz and Kung Fu Panda number 4. Wow. What a matchup. I mean, this is... I don't think I've seen a single team that is worse into Zapdos in my entire life. This is just... What are you even supposed to do? The whole team is dead in 2 hits to Zapdos. The entire team. You don't even need to bring the rest of your squad. Milotic also walls the entire team. And Gengar can use Thunderbolt on it and do like 50%, but that's about it. So easy one for Vaz. You don't even got to mention that Vaz is like an actual ADV player and Kung Fu Panda's a glue sniffer, but that's also something else in his favor. Anyway, DPP. Rowlet, 69-420. The legend against Zazo. I don't know if anybody has heard of this guy before. I think Rowlet's probably player skill advantage, definitely team advantage. You can see maybe how Zaza is kind of getting thrown into this garbage draft performed by the Roblox War. Like, Dragonite round 1 is always a bad sign, and then what followed suit is, I mean, honestly, not anything too horrible, but I see no ground type in the face of a Raikou. I see no rock resist in the face of a Tyranitar, and I see a good game to Rowlet 69-420 with like a 3-0. 2-0, Fluttermane Pirates. Black and white. Okay, so this game already happened, but just look at the team. We got a garbage Rain team without Thunderous Darien, and we have a god tier Rain team with Thunderous Darien. Holy shit! How are you? That's like easily the worst matchup I've ever seen in my entire life. How you have the same exact Rain core, but one of them has the Thunderous, which is just gonna completely slaughter the entire team in Rain. Iceman. I honestly don't remember what happened. I think Iceman still managed to find a way to lose somehow. I don't know how. You'll have to see that one and see how Daniel Marquavius Clay pulls that one off. But either way, I'm still sticking to my matchup here and gonna say Iceman Chuck Liddell has this for Roblox. On to Ores. Elysian Soul 222. You guys, Xhiku 69. Stop putting numbers at the end of your name. You're not tough. Especially not with 69. God, this isn't 2017, dude. But anyways, I guess these guys are playing Pokemon. Let's see what they got. So Garchomp, Lander, Styrian. Okay, so this looks like something where it's another one of those matchups where this guy's only like special backbone. The only thing that can take a hit on the entire team is Florges. Like obviously the Rotom can. That's kind of gonna be on like check-in Landorus duty though. Maybe with like a side order of switching into a Glade hit. I don't know. I don't think it can even do that though, you know? But the rest of this stuff is just like Raiku's just got to get through the Florges. Hydreigon's just got to get through, and then there's just nothing. But what I do see is like Klefki is the only fairy resist. It might be another matchup where like an offensive Florges, like a Scarf Florges, Scarf Moonblast kind of goes crazy. If you can use like maybe Crobat or something to force damage on the Klefki, like get a Super Fang off, send it in. You can always kind of defog against it. I guess it threatens the Thunder Wave though. I don't know. I think that sounds like a solid game plan though. But I think that being said, I'm gonna give it to Elysian Soul. 3-1. Now Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is a Tab Coco against Garbage. Garbage Zero Aura is the best check. Like Gliscor Superior just getting knocked off the map with Hidden Power Ice from Coco. Or you can just U-turn on Superior if you really feel like it, and then Coco just kills the rest of the team. But you still also have 5 other Pokemon in the battle. Easy win for Steering, in my opinion. Sword and Shield. Johnny and the Real. Brother in arms and in real life with King Rock and Miniman. And I feel like some of these matchups I've already looked at them 10 times. Oh, who do we got in the building?
Vaz has arrived.
Vaz! Oh my god, Vaz.
Hello.
Hold on, I'm yapping about this series real quick. Then we can get you on the mic immediately.
Sounds
Okay,
good,
see-
bro. Sounds good.
Wow, special guest celebrity Vaz. Anyway, let me just freaking lightning round this. Okay, so Johnny and the Real, he's got the Coco, got nothing for it on the other side. Gonna give this one to him. 5, can I count? Yeah, 5-1. Florida Main Pirates, the goats, and Nintago,
love to hear that.
Teriso. I don't even need to look at Teriso's team. Nintago's just smoking this kid. 6-1. Now, last game, Kinrock versus Pizza Boy ran. Look, he's got the Garchomp team in black and white. He's never lost with it, except for like maybe once. Boom, 7-1. Florida Main Pirates. Roblox Wars getting smoked to nobody's surprise. Who's got next? Boz? You got something to say to the people?
We're on my team, right?
Yeah.
Not too much, honestly. I think everyone's been pretty preoccupied with the Emerald Open this past week, but
Oh yeah, everybody's just playing that and having this on the side.
yeah. But I think I'm pretty happy with how everyone's been. I definitely big thanks to Clay and King Rock. I think they're excellent. You know, I think Friday saw I was a bit pessimistic when the season was starting because I was worried about the the prices and everything. I was like, oh man, this might have overspent on me. I don't know. But no,
Yeah,
they honestly they've
ended
been
up
great
working out, huh?
captains. Yeah, it's been working out so far for the team, so I've been really happy to be a part of this tour. It's fun.
Good deal. Gil, are you ready with your analysis?
Yeah, I'm ready. All right. First up, we have Voss versus Kung Fu Panda 4. What did I say last time I was on coverage? You could put 10 Kung Fu Pandas and he still wouldn't win an ADV game? I mean, I see a Titor on one side, I see a Hariyama on the other. I don't see how KFP beats Zapdos. I do not. It doesn't take a genius, doesn't take a ADV main to see that. I mean, Voss is just gonna just farm this game. So 1-0 for Fluttermane Pirates. Next, Rowlet 69-420. Apparently, I beat the Alpo so hard that he got benched. Versus Zazo. I mean, it's Zazo. It's hard to vote against this guy. But there is no Rock Resist. There is a Skarmory, but that can get Fire Blasted by Mixtar. Um, it's not a simple matchup. It's not an easy matchup for Zazo for sure, but it's Zazo. I don't think I could back against this guy, even though D Knight's kind of washed. So, 1-1. Next, the Dungeon Master, Clay, versus the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. This game happened, and Clay brought no Politoed so he could bring Swift Swim Floatzel against the opposing rain team,
Bro, that
which is
genius.
crazy tech, and I respect it. And I'm not going to spoil the result, but my money on the captain. He's doing really well. Obviously, the Iceman is also doing well on BW. Apparently, they listened to me and stopped putting him on ADV to be sent out to die, I guess. But we got the Mastermind Clay putting the Pirates up 2-1. Next game, Oras, Elysian versus X-Hiku. I'd rather play against a guy with 69 in his name than 67, so there's that. So we have no real way to beat Mega Gallade. I mean, Mega Scissor might take a hit. I mean, you can get like Fire Punched, I guess. Rotom's on Lando checking duty, which is fine, but I guess the Crobat or the Azelf could outspeed it and threaten it, but Mega Gallade comes in, gets a kill, leaves, and then comes back in and does it again until eventually X-Hiku wins, I think. 2-2. Somehow. It's only Roblox. Steering versus Thomas. I mean, 3D already said it. There's a Tapu Koko on one side. There is no way to beat a Tapu Koko on the other. 3-2. Johnny in the Rio versus Miniman. How does he beat a Tapu Koko? Because I'm not entirely seeing it either.
Yeah.
We got the Cocos farming it. 4-2 for Fluttermane Pirates. In Flex 1, ADV2, we got Tago versus Teriso. I mean, Tago's 6-0. I'm gonna back the 7-0 regular season. And last, but certainly not least, the two captains going at it: King Rock versus Pizza Boy Rin. King Rock is 4-2. Neither of his losses were with this Garchomp team. He's 4-0 with his team. I'm gonna say he makes it 5-0, 6-2 for Fluttermane Pirates.
All right, I'm going to pass it to a large mongoose next.
In the ADV slot, we have my man Vaz, who's going to sit and do nothing for however many turns it takes. I like to think about 80 or 90, and then he's going to win. 1-0. Now, in DPP, it is hard to pick against Zazo. But it's not that hard because Karma is going to get him. I still don't have a video of this son of a bitch in a raccoon hat that he promised after I beat him last week. I've got Rowlet winning. That's 2-0 for the Pirates. In black and white, I've got DJ Clay winning this one. I got spoiled by Mr. Gill. I thought, hey, you know what? Don't bring the polytote. Bring something else because it'll be funny. And I guess it happened. In ORAS, I have X-Hiku 69 winning. I think Raikou has a good matchup. Mega Glade's good. Lando T looks good. In Usum, I hate Usum. Steering wins. In Sword and Shield, I have Mini winning this one, the Mini Man. And I'm looking at this, everybody says, oh, what stops the Coco? But what stops the Melmetal and the Darm G and the Aerodactyl? Ferrothorn. It's Ferrothorn against the world in this matchup, and it can't do it forever. That's 4-2, and then Nintago Foxo and King Rock both win. 6-2 Pirates.
Oh my goodness. Are you at the casino?
Here with the casino money can buy the thing, and but you guys all except for the school.
I don't know what the fuck just happened just
I
now.
have no idea what the fuck he said.
He came in at about 1 pixel every 3 seconds. I know he mumbled the word something finest Latina money could buy. He said something about y'all's appearance. He said something about my appearance. And then he was gone with the wind. But holy crap. Wow. I could tell he was at the casino. I wish I was there with him. God dang.
Bro was just in Vegas. It just showed up to call us like poor. I don't fucking know.
Oh my god. Could you picture being at the craps table with that legend right there? Just
The heart was there, and the fact that he was thinking about it, I think, means a lot. Means a lot to see him to put that effort through. No internet connection.
Wish I was still in Florida. I'd go to PCB with that fella.
Oh yeah. All right, Goose, did you get through before whatever just happened?
I got a
I
little
don't agree.
derailed.
I got either way. I had it 6-2 Pirates.
Okay, all right, I'll close off the matchup here, folks. All right, left to right, first matchup. You've got Vaz versus the Kung Fu Panda. This is rough, y'all. What is he gonna do? Is this going to be Blossom trying to self-set Sun? Like how does he get through that Milo Zapdos? I just can't see him putting a dent into Vaz and making progress here. So there's not really much to cover. He really needs a crit or something to force progress and ultimately take that game. And we've had a whole season's worth of material to see something out of Kung Fu Panda, and there's a reason that just about every single team is doubling up ADV into Roblox War. So we got Vaz taking that one. Next, we've got, who the heck is Rowlet _69420? Like,
Oh, he's got a custom avatar. He's tough.
69420? All right, like, what is this, 2008? Like, is this, are we going to get, like, some Obama dank memes with, like, the
360 no scope. Mom, get the camera out. Eating Doritos, drinking Mountain Dew type shit.
I'm glad you're cultured like I am. I would love to be playing
I grew up in that era, bro. I know.
some OG MW2 on Rust. Oh my goodness, man. Search and destroy, that's where men were made. Good God. Okay. All right, that's good to know.
Deep cuts.
Yeah, Frida, you were still in the womb. I don't know when you actually spawned on this earth. I think maybe you were like a muffin, a little cheese back then. I digress though. Something that nobody pointed out. You guys were all dogging on this matchup for Zazo. A trade secret here that I care to share with the world. Zazo's gonna run Life Orb mixed Sceptile here, and he's gonna cut through Rowlet. You guys all said there was no answer for the Raikou, no answer for this, there's no answer for that. Bro, he's riding Sceptile to victory. That's all you really need to know. So I've got this series tied up at 1-1. Now we go into something that you guys already really beat a dead horse, and it already happened, so I don't want to waste extra time. I've got Damien the Genius, Damien the Maniac, whatever he really is. He's an SPL player, a good one at that, and he already took this game. So you have the Fluttermane Pirates up 2-1. Now we start to get into the ORAS territory. You got Xhiku with a nice Mega Glade Klefki team against Elysian Soul, who is just balling out recently. One of the underrated players that we have here in PDT, active player in the server. Glad to see them doing well, and with a good team at that. But with that said, I kind of like the matchup for Xhiku. I've got them tying it up 2-2. We move over to Usum. You've got Craft Steering, controversial host back in the day. But I've got nothing against Steering. And then on the other side, you've got Smogon mod, now PDT mod, Thomas. Everybody was tooting up this Tapu Koko. I like the Zeraora. And I think I've got Thomas in the upset. And he puts Roblox War up 3-2. But the rest of the way, it looks pretty grim. You've got Johnny in the Real, successor to King Rock's throne, taking the Sword and Shield game against VGC player Mini Man, known as Dylan by the Pizza Boy. Series tied back up. Now we go into guys, this ain't Teriso flexing onto DPP. This is Teriso finally getting thrown onto the ADV grenade, something I called for in like week 3. I want to say week 3 or week 4. He's finally answered the noble call, and he's got himself thrown on this grenade, and he goes up against none other than Nintago Foxo. Good God. I gotta pick against Teriso, partially because he stood us up tonight. Secondly, though, look over at Nintago Foxo's team. Mon that nobody touched on, Kingdra. Kingdra with a little bit of setup. Should Regice alter, is off to the races. Maybe Polyrat too. But I like Nintago Foxo here. Pirates inch back into this matchup. All right, now we go into the final. King Rock, the noble King Rock, as people love him, versus Pizza Boy Rin. Not just any pizza. This ain't my New York coal fire. This is no Chicago deep dish. This is no Detroit style on the rack. He's freaking Domino's Pizza Boy Rin. He's the GM at a Domino's Pizza in the Sin City somewhere. That just does not sound like my type of pizza. And I bleed marinara. So off of that alone, I got to go with King Rock. And I think that puts the Fluttermane Pirates up 5-3, y'all. And with that, we move on to the next segment.
Subway Woos. Okay. Eric. Sure. Is that my Clodsire? David's junk. Okay. Juin copies recipe. I thought that was a secret. What the hell? See, that's funny. What the fuck?
All right, and I have the lucky honor of starting us off for matchup number 3 here, cooking with the boys and Pokemon Elite. We'll start off with ADV, format I'm most comfortable with. We have Noble versus Platonia. So Noble, I remember from the drafts, he was saying, "Oh, I'm as good as Vaz. We should go for the same price." And when I look at his score, I think that he's pretty close. Like, I mean, he's not too far off, 4-2. I don't know if he's been playing ADV this whole time or not, but I'd imagine he has. And when I look at his team, I see Starmie, I see a Salamence, I see Machamp. I see not so many answers on the other team for those 3. I think that Gyarados probably gets overloaded in this matchup if Noble can be clever. But on the other end of the fence, I do think that Platonia has been getting a lot of slack. I think he's played well from the games I've watched. So I think this should be a good game in the ADV slot. But I'm going to have to give it to Noble here just because I think he's the better player. And I think that his team has a couple of unique strengths here that should see him through. For DPP, I see Max against Bredibus. I mean, you can't vote against Max at this point. He's undefeated, excellent player. Has an Infernape team who, as far as I understand, Infernape's the best guy in DPP. Uxi's there, but how long is Uxie going to be there with U-turn? It definitely looks like it can be a bit of a difficult matchup here for Bredibus. So I'm definitely going to give that to and we're at 2-0 cooking with the boys. Next up, Black and White. Southern Cavern versus Volti Pichu. I look here. I know that Terrakion is an excellent mon in Black and White. Really difficult to switch into. I look at Volti Pichu's team and I see a distinct lack of stable switch-ins. Obviously the power level in Black and White is insane. So, Scarf Jirachi might just somehow win with Iron Head. But, here I'm still going to have to give it to cooking with the boys. I think Terrakion's going to take it home. 3-0 cooking with the boys. Moving on to Oras. We got the Psy Guy and Blinn. From the rumors I hear with the Latinas clouding Psy Guy's judgment, I think he might be a little bit too distracted to pull through with this one. Not to mention, we just saw him in the casino. I can't imagine his head's gonna be in the right place for this game, especially if he ends up losing tonight. I really hope he wins, but it could definitely put him in a questionable state of mind. Just based off that alone, and I see Landorus Therian on the other team, the GOAT. I'm gonna give this to Blinn. 3-1 cooking with the boys. For Ultra Sun and Moon, I see Zeraora and I see a Coco, which seems to be the matchup in every single Ultra Sun and Moon game that goes on in this league, because I guess Zeraora and Coco are the best mons in this format. I think that personally, when I used to play this format when I was pretty newer to Pokemon, Zeraora was just insane. Super fast, super strong. I see not too many answers besides like a Dawn fan who, I don't know, it's a Dawn fan. Can't really respect that guy in Ultra Sun and Moon format. I'm gonna give this to Ace over Gaming 2, even though that might be controversial because Gaming 2 is insane. Very good player from when I played him. But I think I'm going to give this one to Ace just because I love Zeraora and I think he's got the aura this game. With the Sword and Shield, we have DJS and Emperor Ari. Once again, DJS goated player for sure. I think that his team looks pretty solid into Emperor Ari. I see some good knockoff targets. I see Mew, Mew on both sides, but Mew can be pretty tricky. If it doesn't have a proper dark type answer, which I do not see on Emperor Ari's team. For that reason alone, and just the fact that DGS, I know he's a GOAT. He's been playing super well this tourney. I'll give it to DJS. So right now we're at 5-1 for Cooking with the Boys. In the flex slot 1, we have Butterchoke versus the Inquisition in DPP. This looks like a pretty interesting matchup. We see Zapdos and we see Rotom. Those are two pretty strong electric types. So basing off that, looking at both teams, who has the better electric type answers? Looks like, it looks honestly a bit suspect on both sides, but I see a Shaman on Butterchoke. Shaman's pretty good. And Shaman kind of there's no switch in for Shaman on the other team. So I'm actually going to have to give this to Butterchoke. 6-1 for Cooking with the Boys. And finally, on the Flex 2, we have an Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, or the Ultra Moon game, with Lisa versus Trey Yunt. Just want to shout out to Trey Yunt, super nice guy. We were actually pool mates in the Emerald Open this week. I see a Celesteela Mew team versus a Latios and Landorus team. I think that Landorus is just super good into this matchup again. I think I really just love Landorus. I think he's super versatile in these newer gens. Mega Scissors even nice too for the bullet punch U-turn. But just because I love Trey Yunt, super cool guy, I'm gonna give this one to Trey Yunt, and I think it's gonna go 6-2 for Cooking with the Boys.
Wow. Thank you, Voz. The other side of the coin, looking at his takes in the modern gens, truly a sight to behold. Where are you going to see this from other than the PDT Super Show guys? I don't know, but back to the old grind for me. Up in this series, let's take a look at it. Cooking with the Boys, easily the favorites here over Pokemon of the Mediocre. Like we see Max going into this 6-0, and he's like, "Oh my god, I gotta finish the season 7-0. I gotta win." And then you see you're up against Pokemon of the Elite and DVP, the notorious, absolute garbage teams that you double up against every single week, and you just take a big sigh of relief as Max. I get a free win, freest win of all time against Brett. I guess I'll go over the ADV first. We'll get to that. But yeah, I think Voz already hit the nail on the head with just highlighting the Starmie in particular. I see is just like, what are you supposed to do? Like, you just didn't draft a special wall, like other than Jolteon, if you can even call it one. That's not gonna get the job done against Starmie. It's also the only thing he has faster than the Salamence. So like, he can rely on that to offensively check those guys, but he's not gonna have any switch-ins. Like Metagross can hit everything when you run like Shadow Ball and like Garbage, Hidden Power Fire, like Earthquake. I don't know. I don't think he has the tools in this one. He's gonna have to win offensively somehow, and I don't think he can get it done. And not to mention Houndoom is like randomly scary here. Again, no really special wall to handle that. I guess like you're gonna have a Miltank with Careful Nature Max EV is like that's the only way you can even stay afloat. And maybe we'll think that can check the Houndoom. But I like running Will-O-Wisp on that guy. Force it to Heal Bell, get the free switch into Machamp, get your damage done. Easy matchup for Noble. And then DPP, like I mentioned, is just like, come on, dude. You're running the worst DPP drafts known to mankind into Max. Brett, I want you to try. I want you to make Max have to earn this 7-0 record. I want you to make him have to fight for it, but Like, I think you're just locked out of a chance with the draft that you came up with here, or whoever came up with it. Just like ask somebody for help next time when you're when you're drafting. 'Cause, God, Max is my prediction. So black and white, the Southern Cavern. Look, Southern Cavern and his boy Max are just next to each other on the lineup, holding hands. It's heartwarming, but the result is going to be Cavern losing again. Unfortunately, I mean that's that's destiny in this tournament. I don't know what the hell I just said, but Volty Pichu on the other side, he's got the Raikou and to garbage plate all as the resistance, just outspeeds everything. And look at this, Terrakion, obviously super broken, but I see Golurk. Now, I know nothing about black and white draft, despite what my vast knowledge I've displayed in these analyses may lead you to believe. I don't know anything about this generation, but I see Golurk. I see Golurk drafted a lot, and I have to think maybe it's just because it's really good in Terrakion. Like the wall in the close combat Stone Age coverage. Damn, maybe this is the secret threat that Cavern is gonna have to get through. Granted, you know, he does have the Rotom Wash. He can always throw into that. I don't know if Golurk even gets a Ghost type move to hit that with. Like, just like Click Toxic, I guess, is your best bet. But all that being said, though, I think maybe just maybe Golurk's gonna go crazy. So Volty Pichu has my prediction now, 2-1. With cooking with the boys ahead. So on to OS. What do we see? Oh yeah, so we got Psy Guy on the sticks. This guy's still playing Pokemon. Thank God, he still got his heart in it somehow. With all the big side projects he's got going on in the OnlyFans industry. But up against Bland. Now Bland is maybe he's kind of got a chip on his shoulder here with this being stuck on Pokemon of the Elite team. We hear some whispers from Gil about how this guy's a good player stuck on a bad team, and this is maybe going to be his last week where he gets to show his skills. I think he's going to play tough here. I think Guy's he's not in this one to win it. I think matchup wise, it could go either way. Like Mew's good into the Gallade. I like running knockoff taunt to stop that thing from healing and wisping you. I think he's got the threats to win, Blinn. I'm gonna take him. 2-2. On to Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Oh yeah, another Zeraora versus Tabakoko slop. A slop fest that I want to say. I lean Gaiman just because player diff. I don't know if there's even a single removal option on Ace's side other than well, he's got Superior, I guess. Maybe Landorus gets defog too. I've never seen that
Landorus
one,
gets
the incarnate
defog, yeah.
form.
Lando Surf.
Landorus is your best defogger. I think
Only the greatest removers on this team.
I think I like from Gaiman's side. I like just getting rocks at turn 1 and then you just like beat him. I don't think he's gonna ever run defog. And then you just win off of that. Just because Coco, you have nothing for that like many of these other teams. And the Mega Charizard is also very unguardable. Toxapex obviously can't do much. You just throw a helmet on that and hope it kills itself. But I don't think it's gonna be so easy. So, Gaiman, I think he has this one. I could see it going either way though. The Zeraora is definitely also equally as scary. Calm mindset to wall the Coco and get through the Donphan with Grass Knot. Like, you got to watch out for that for sure. Now, onto Sword and Shield. The DJS against Emperor Ari, and this is a pretty easy one. We see just absolute Thanos matchup for Weavile. Like Keldeo is simultaneously your Dark and Ice Resist besides Arcanine, but you get rid of the boots on that, and that really can't switch in anymore. I don't think this one. I think he has to have Mew as the defogger. Super garbage. I like leveraging the hazards with knockoff getting rid of the boots. I think you can just easily break through the team that way with Weavile. get it in a couple times. It's gonna kill everything. Like I've used Weavile weak teams in Sword and Shield against Weavile, and it just feels so helpless. So DGS has this one for sure. But a choke and Inquisition and DPP. Guys, we say it every week, but please don't leave home without acknowledging that this DPP team on Pokemon of the Mediocre is easily the worst team anybody has ever drafted in their entire lives. Look at Kingdra. There's no water resist whatsoever. Your grass resist is Shaman is a Swellow. Bro, this you have nothing. You have nothing for anything that Butterchoke has. It's gonna be a 6-0. Now last but not least, certainly not least, Mona Lisa in Ultra Sun Ultra Moon against Treyant. So two I don't know, I don't want to say mid. That feels wrong to say mid. I've seen these guys win some games. But I think this is a pretty even matchup. I think both sides have some threats that I don't see a whole lot of great answers to on the other side. Like the Landers can go kind of crazy. Maybe want to lean into a defensive Steela set to try to keep that thing at bay. But like, I don't know. It's kind of easier said than done. I think Mew has some obstacles with I don't know if you want to run Drapion here, but into the Latios as well. You're gonna have to run a lot of coverage to hit everything. But I don't know, pretty even one. Like I said, I'm gonna end up giving it to Liza because I feel like I gotta give the better team overall the advantage. Cooking with the boys, with it being so even, I'll give it to Liza. What is that? 5-3. Cooking with the boys takes this one with ease. Whoever wants to follow that up, be my guest. I'll let you take the stage.
All right. So in the first one, ADV, we have No Bull versus my man Platt. Now this one here is for the retirement home, the old fellas. You ever hear of Peter Frampton? Frampton Comes Alive came out in 1995. That was a live guitar album. This right here is Platonia Comes Alive. He's winning this game. I don't know how he's going to do it because the matchup's awful. Starmie eats this alive. Machamp eats it alive. Jolteon gets walled by Kangaskhan Lantern. But I'm telling you, it's going to happen. DPP, we have Max is 6-0. They're going to win. In black and white, Cavern versus Voltipichu is actually kind of interesting because Cavern's really bad, but he has a very good matchup here. Terrakion is real strong. Like Friday said, it's basically a Golurk that walls it. It gets worn down by Rotom Wash, gets worn down by Metagross. Does Drapion get Toxic Spikes in Gen 5?
Yes, it does. It gets it
Yeah.
in DPP as well.
So that's definitely something that you should get up early, and if it ends up getting spun away, get it up again. Bring Frostlass to
Yeah, but you
spin
got
block.
you got a
Southern
conk
Cat-
and you got a Eviolite Roselia.
What does the Roselia do?
That's
It just
if
sits
you're
there.
if you're at the point
Roselia might as well not
you're
even be
bringing
listed
the
on the roster.
Roselia.
It just sits
It's,
there
it's
and looks
already
pretty.
you're fighting a losing battle if you're bringing the fucking Roselia. It's over. In ORAS, we have the Psy guy who we saw a minute ago. He is actively decaying in front of our eyes. He looks worse every time you see him. The Latinas and the gambling are taking their toll on him. So I'm picking Blinn. Usum is Usum. I'm picking Gaming. Sword and Shield, DJS is going to win this one. This is a terrible team for the Pokemon of the Elite. Weavile eats it alive, like everybody said. Nidoking eats it alive. But in DPP, I've got Butterchoke winning this one. As everybody's already said, Zapdos and Kingdra are very good in the matchup. And then Usum, I've got Liza winning. That is a 5-3 Cooking with the Boys victory.
Gil, have you gone yet?
Bravo.
I have not gone. Do you want to anchor or do you want me to anchor?
I'm gonna anchor.
All right, let's kick this off. ADV Noble versus Platonia. I mean, what are you doing to Starmie Immense Machamp with this team? I don't really see it. There is no vision to be seen here. Noble wins 1-0, cooking with the boys. Next up, Max 6-0, greatest DPP player of all time. That's clearly how that works. He's beaten me and Gio, so he's the best. And he's playing into these pathetic Pokemon of the mediocre DPP teams. I mean, he tried Kingdra. What are we doing here? Like, there's a Uxie, which is like, okay. Like, Arrow's not gonna do anything into Bronzong or Stoys or anything. Nothing on this team does anything into Stoys. I mean, Venusaur, but you just leave. Crazy tech, I know. So, Max is gonna go for the 7-0. Cavern versus Volti Pichu. I'm not convinced this Golurk is a good medium to long-term check to Terrakion. I think Cavern can definitely wear that down and then just clean with Terrakion because it beats every other Pokemon on the team. Well, it doesn't beat Mach Punch Conkeldurr, that's a thing. So maybe if you can get it in Mach Punch range after a couple rounds of hazards, could see a win here. Maybe you do win that actually. I'm gonna go for Volti Pichu. Guy versus Blinn. Blinn, very good player, and Saigai, clearly his heart is not in the Pokemon anymore. Maybe he should leave the Pokemon before the Pokemon leaves him. So 2-2. Ace Numbers versus Gaiman. There's a Aurora on one side, there's a Coco on the other. Neither of these teams can stop the electric type. One of these electric types is gonna win before the other one can. I'm gonna give the win to Gaiman off of player diff. DJS versus Emperor Ari, two captains going at it. Listen, we talk about this Weavile beating the team, but you know what? If Ari has the balls, he brings Nasty Plot, Vacuum Wave Mew, and completely cooks DJS. But he's not that good, so DJS is gonna win. DPP2. Listen, of course you double DPP into this team. There's two Rotom appliances with 0 spikers in sight. Of course you double DPP into these guys. And you lose to Zapdos. You also lose to Shaman 85% of the time, but 85% of the time, it hits Seed Flare 100% of the time. I mean, this team is just pathetic. I mean, Friday said that this was the worst DPP team of all time, and I was gonna make a quip that the other Rotom Appliance team was competing for it, but there's a Suicune, so I think it's marginally better. Anyways, Butterchuck's gonna win this one. And lastly, the Mona Lisa versus Treyant. This one's like a real game that I should actually give some meaningful analysis about, but honestly, I'm just not. I'm gonna give the win to the Mona Lisa, which will make it 5-3 for Cooking with the Boys.
Wow. Everybody is everybody seems to be against Pokemon of the mediocre. Honestly, I think I'm in that camp too. So the first game you got Noble versus Platonia. One of the only angles I see here and out for Platonia is if somehow Noble brings Fortress without Boom, and Platonia is able to exploit it with a sub Dragon Dance Gyarados set, like something like HP Flying and like Earthquake, and is able to get like +2 or something off of this Fortress. That's one of the only scenarios I can see. Because so many people, minus I think Goose, picked Noble. I'm gonna throw a dart and I'm gonna pick Platonia. I think somehow he's gonna pull it out. This next one, you got Max versus Brett. We've all acknowledged that these Pokemon of the mediocre DPP builds are like really bad, but what's scary about that is Brett is a guy who's made a deep run in DPP tours before. The two I can think at the top of my head, Distortion 2, and then Hades of Ender draft through time, same thing. He made deep runs, both of them. So to see the regression that he's had from 2 years ago is night and day. Like, he went from being a respectable DPP player to, I see him in like 10 leagues at once, and I feel like even a year ago I would see him in 10 leagues at once, but like he was still positive in a couple. Like he every now and then, like you would see him put together really great results. I'm just seeing like strings of mediocrity coming out of Brett right now, and it's kind of sad, because he used to be respectable. But there's no excuse, to have not quality checked your DPP builds and you're a DPP player. It's like there's no excuse. Max is going to steamroll this one. So we got 1-1. Beyond this, we've got Southern Cavern versus Volti. I think that the Golurk does a good job of countering, if that, the Terrakion. Terrakion is one of those mons that has hardly any counters in that metagame. But I think Golurk's as good as you're going to find it. Acknowledge Roselia is kind of just a mascot here. Do I think it comes? Not particularly, no. However, I still think that the rest of the squad has a good matchup. I don't think Toxic Spikes are quite as free as you guys think that they are. You've still got a Conkelder on the other side that might even be able to, not have to run, like a Flame Orb or a Toxic Orb. If you're going to give him that, it's going to have the item slot to do something else potentially as well, while still running Guts. I think that would be really cool tech to see. I think the Jirachi likewise can do some stuff here. Remember our type chart here. This is a meta where Steel is still so stinking good in Gen 5. So I've got Volti taking this and putting Pokemon of the Mediocre up 2-1. I'm going to go against the green, though, once we get here to ORAS. So we've got fellow Latina enjoyer, the Psy Guy. And everybody seems to be slamming Blinn here. Guys, I got the Psy Guy. I got the Psy Guy taking this one, and tying this up at 2-2. I don't have enough time to really go into the why. Someone's just telling me the Psy Guy pulling it out. Next, Ace Number versus Game in 2. In the benefit of time, you guys have already said player diff, Game in 2. And then the other thing is, like, why the heck do we keep seeing these Zeraora Tapu Kokos? I'm just so tired of seeing this matchup. All right, but I'm going with Game in 2. So that's 3-2 Pokemon of the Mediocre. This next one is actually really interested from a matchup perspective, this Sword and Shield matchup. You got DJS versus Emperori. Guys, Emperori is like... It pains me to say this because we won a team tour with both of these players on Team PDT, but DJS is just so much of a better player. I've got DJS, Captain DJS, tying this up 3-3. Then we go into flex spots. In DPP, you've got Mumbo Jumbo Butterchoke versus the sub for the Inquisition is Jake W. Butterchoke has already pinged me multiple times trying to claim this game. Overruled. You're not getting off the hook that easy, buddy. However, I think you're still going to win this game cleanly. Everybody and their grandmother already brought up, like, these DPP teams are atrocious. There is one out, though, for Pokemon of the Mediocre. Whether or not they act on that out is to be determined. But I'll give it to Pokemon of the Mediocre. Hopefully this finds them in time. your only out here is if, by the grace of God, they give you enough space to set up Lucario mid to late game, like a life orb, physical Lucario that's able to exploit with E-speed. And that's still assuming that there's chip, like the Tauros is gone. Well, it would be really situational, but a +2, potentially even more than that, Lucario is like one of the only ways I could see him pulling that. But it's not happening. I got Butterchoke, Mumbo Jumbo, trying to fish for the forfeit win. He's taking that. Last game, Liza versus Treyant. This one's tough. It is a good matchup. I've seen Trey on the sticks with his team before. If you look at this and you try and grade it fairly, frankly, I have Liza having matchup. I think the Latios and the Raikou are really quintessential to that. But that's if you take it at face value. I've seen Trey play this team before, and he piloted this team one time. I think it was against my team. Not me personally. I would never have the lack of honor to slot Yusum. That's just like the worst possible tier in this whole tournament. But he ran a Celesteela with like no attacks. That was just like throwing leech seeds and like protects and subs out. And like the other team couldn't even touch it. And I can see that exact angle playing out, especially if like the special options on Lisa's team die. Like let's say like they lose Raikou and Latios early. This Celesteela just literally walls Lisa, and I think that Trey's going to be able to put together some god awful anti-meta set, and it won't have made sense, in the builder. I just think that that's what Trey's going to do. So all in all, I think that nets out to, I want to say a 4-4. Let me do a double check. Yeah, that's 4-4. And that's a segment coming in at almost 33 minutes.
I love Mega Steelix. That one's fire.
All right, everyone, and since no one else in this call likes starting off the matchups, I'll be doing it again. It was by popular vote. We have Stand and Bang versus Very Loud Boomers. What's nice here too is I at least know most of the players. Getting off with ADV, we have the unluckiest player ever slotted in for Stand and Bang, 48. And we have Charizard, Mushi League player, pretty well known, I think, in the OU scene, maybe a bit less so on the draft side. Both capable players. When I look at the teams, I see two meta teams. One of them maybe is a little bit more well built than the other one, and by that I'm referring to 48's team. That being said, and this is no offense to 48, but I just can't vote for him because he's that unlucky. I know he's going to find some way to get frozen 3 times this game, crit 2 times, and somehow just lose, or maybe get burnt by a Rapidash. Like it's just that unlucky. So I'm gonna have to give this first one to Charizard. DPP, we have Rathmon and Blaze Fabi. I see once again Infernape. I see a Scizor on the other team who apparently is one of the less good Mons in DPP. Everyone seems to hate this guy, and in this matchup, I can kind of see why. It kind of looks walled by a lot of what Rathmon can bring here. This Bronzong seems to be almost uncontested in this matchup. Fernape looks really nice. I'm going to give this one to Rathmon. For black and white, we have Wi-Fi Key and Laxus. Wi-Fi Key, my homeboy from the Martini League draft. He was on our team. Super good black and white player. Watching him play and everything in the tournaments was always fun. And he has the Cure in black here into Thunderous Therian. I mean, I don't think you could ask for a better matchup for Cure in black. The Terra Volt ability or whatever that one is, that just lets him ignore the opposing abilities with the Fusion Bolt. I think it's going to come in pretty handy here. It's maybe some type of mix set. I think Wi-Fi Key is going to find some way to craft it. I'm giving this one to Wi-Fi Key. Oras, Mew, Keldeo, McLangno versus Freeday with Tornadus, Therian, and Keldeo. Oh, and Mega Kangaskhan. Just because that guy's that good, I'm going to have to give this one to Freeday immediately. Just Mega Kangaskhan. What is that guy? Is Power Up Punch legal? If it is, it shouldn't be.
It is. Seismic Toss is not, but you can
Okay.
put Power Punch.
Power Up Punch still crazy. Shouldn't be. I think Freeday is going to take this. Beyond that, he also
Elite
has
ball knowledge on display.
He has Excadrill. And Freeday knows he tells it from a mile away. My Oris knowledge is out of this world, and I knew it immediately. For Ultra Sun and Moon, we have another Zeraora and Tapu Koko matchup. I never would have guessed that would have been the matchup in this match. For Ultra Sun and Moon, it's not like every team brings this team mirror every single week. Once again, I guess we're just going to have to give this to the Zeraora because Tapu Koko, overrated. Very overrated Mon here. Even if, it looks like it beats the rest of Fate's team. Palossand and Zeraora, I think the Warriors will find a way to hold it together. Maybe some Assault Vest and Cineroar action. I think I see a clear win path here with some well-placed knockoffs and agilities. Yeah, we're giving this one to Fate. So what does that put us at? 3-2 for the Stand and Bang. No, 3-2 for the Very Loud Boomers. So yeah, I mean, going on to the next one, we have Sword and Shield, Dact, and the K Tank. Everyone's been kind of shitting on Melmetal, and I kind of disagree because I think Melmetal's insane, but not into Slowbro, not into Conk. It's just too much Rocky Helmet damage. Maybe if you get creative and run pads or something, but even then, I just don't see a way for Dak to kind of muscle through this. I think it's just too sturdy from the K Tank side, so I'm gonna have to give this one to K Tank. As far as the flex slot goes, we have Mongoose in ADV versus Daisy. This is probably going to be one of the heater matchups of the week. Two very good players in ADV going head to head. I think Stand and Bang and Very Loud Booners rather, they have something to prove here. They want to make playoffs. So it's very important that Daisy kind of finds a way to clutch this, but I don't see Large Mongoose making this easy. Zapdos into Raikou is never easy. Hypno's also there for some CM Pass options. They kind of go head to head, that and Espeon, but Hypno typically has the upper hand there. Daisy does have Sceptile, which, very similar to my team. If he kind of watches my replay, you could see how Sceptile can kind of actually break these special defensive cores. Just because of the team difference here and the fact that it's like basically a mirror of when I was playing Large Mongoose. It's like the same teams, just piloted by Daisy instead of myself. I think it's going to go to Daisy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mongoose was able to learn from his mistakes and come back with maybe a solution to Endeavor Sceptile and maybe a more offensive leaning Milotic. And finally, we have DPP on the flex. We have Lou versus Friedel, another heater matchup. Probably going to be another one of the good ones this week. you know, I'll say that these two players are both super experienced in DPP. I don't really see one player necessarily being better than the other. I think they both have creative options in this matchup. I just think that Tyranitar offers an enormous amount of versatility in DPP. Its ability to run coverage for literally everything, especially in this game. I just don't really see how Friedel finds a way to make this work. The resist berries, is it going to be Lumberry? I think Tyranitar just brings enormous value. We've been seeing it paired a lot with Raikou lately as well, which, once Jolteon's gone, or, once maybe Jolteon overextends itself trying to come in and be offensive, I think that Raikou can kind of just overtake a lot of the Mons, and Chansey, it might stop Raikou at a certain point, but then it's going to run into the wall of Donphan and Staraptor and Quillfish. I've seen Quillfish do crazy things in DPP. So I'm going to have to give this one to Lou. So on that note, what are we at here? 3-1, 3, 3-2. Then we have 4-2, 5-2, 5-3 for Very Loud Boomers. Whoever's next, feel free to take the wheel.
All right, Gil, you're the only other person here that doesn't have skin in the game.
Yep. All right, let's finish off this coverage. Final match, stand and bang. Got nothing to play, got nothing to win, got nothing to lose. Versus the Boomers, who have a lot to lose in this series. They lose, they're at risk of missing playoffs. They're gonna rely on us to, do the job for them to beat the retirement home. First, Quarantate versus Charizard. Obviously, Voss has a lot more in-depth analysis of ADV than I could ever have, but Charizard has been playing ADV this entire tour. Quarantate has gone over from BW over to ADV. I have to give the win to Charizard, the ADV main. Although this game has happened and Quarantate did win, but honest prediction from me. Up next, DPP. This is my wheelhouse. Blaze Fabi with the Zapdos into Raph with the Infernape Flygon Bronzong team. Where have I seen this one before? So-called free thinkers when they have first pick in DPP. Saying that, like, I wouldn't have it a Flygon if the team right before mine didn't pick it. But, this Infernape is really good here. Like, how do you really stop it? I guess Torkoal comes in on close combat, but there's also a Whiscash, I guess. Like, there's no, like, helmet to punish, like, some of these guys. Like, Scizor as well can just click U-turn if it wants. But the Bronzong is really hard to kill here. Your fire type's a Torkoal. Zapdos can Heat Wave, but Zapdos doesn't want to eat a boom in return. You could maybe sub on it, but who knows. The Crobat actually looks kind of decent here. It's not really doing that much to Zapdos. Maybe you could like plot, but then you run into Snorlax issues. But I think it can put in work here. The Ursaring, Max has been putting in work with that Pokemon. So who knows? Maybe that guy does something. But the Infernape is just so dominant here. I have to give the win to Raph. BW, Laxus versus Wi-Fi. I think it's Ike from Fire Emblem and Wi-Fi. I don't know. So it's Wi-Fi. So we have Kieran Black Drill versus Dundee T with no rain. I don't fucking know about BW. But Wi-Fi is a pretty good BW player. So I'll give the win to them. McLogno, well, not McLogno. His MIA has been subbed out for Hycrox, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, playing against John Friday. Unfortunately, Hycrox is 0-4. I beat him in DPP, and then he got benched and then banished to Modern Gen Hell. Now he's playing against Friday with the trusty Mega Kangaskhan. Love that Pokemon. I can't wait for the Parental Bone Ice Beam freezes.
Hell yeah.
Just don't freeze the Mew, or else you get frozen yourself. That's all I have to say. But I
That's
have
not
to
how it
give the
works.
win
Oh
to
shit.
Friday. You're
He has the
you, and
counter.
you
Not how
better
it
not
works.
lose to the 0-4 guy, please.
By the way,
We got
heal.
Fate versus
Thanks for
Nash. Nash with the
listening, heal.
trusty Shaman versus Zerora.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it all. We've seen Zerora land OI. We've seen Coco land OI. We've seen like Zerora Xrd and Coco Xrd. Like so-called free thinkers, man. Like there's a Latios, not quite an Xrd, but it's a dragon type. I I mean, I'm gonna give it to Nash. The Shaman is gonna cook somehow. I don't know. There's a Skarmory on the other side, but we don't talk about that. In Swish, we have Dact versus the K-Tank. There's a slow, bro. You could stop the Melmetal. How do you stop Tornado Styrian? You dodge Hurricane is how you stop Tornado Styrian. Or maybe you run like Assault Vest Melmetal, I guess. I'm gonna give the win to K-Tank on the condition that Hurricane lands. ADV2, Mongoose versus Daisy. Think Mongoose is a better player. This matchup could go either way. Gonna give the win to Mongoose. Last, but definitely not least, Lewis J versus Friedel for Wii U. We got some heat here, and trade secret. When I played against Boomers, I played against Raph. He brought this team, and I brought my Sandstall team, not realizing that this fucking Gliscor can run Sandvale. Are you feeling lucky, Lou? Because you better be if you want to win this game. But I mean, even with the Sandvale, the T-Tar is pretty good here. There is a Scizor on the other side. The Scizor actually just looks really good, honestly. I mean, obviously there's a Dawn fan, but that doesn't have recovery. I think a Scarf Scizor is kind of the threat here. But I think Lou's got this in the bag. He's gonna hit every move into Gliscor, and he's going to win. So, what's the series score here?
8-0 Boomers.
I can tell you right now, it's 1-0. Stand
It's
and bang.
six. It is 1-0 in reality. And my predictions, I think it's 6-2 with the two captains winning. So it is what it is.
All right. At this point, we're going to pass it over to the very loud boomers, commonly referred to these days as the very loud Friedels, for their rebuttal. Anything?
Hey, we're gonna have a rebuttal on the battlefield. Like, won the first game, alright. That's already more wins than you've got against Shuppet Detectives. But
You
we
mean
still got
Fluttermane
shooters.
Pirates, right?
Oh wait, yeah. Okay, the other team that they got stomped by. Yeah.
No, but
Yeah,
this
so
is probably going to be one of the highlight like matches for the week. I think this was definitely worth tuning into. There's a couple of really good games to be played here. It's
I'll
very
say
excited
this.
to watch these.
You know, stand and bang, we've been like a flat tire all season. The only positive record players, me, Goose, and Fate. Everybody else is like, I don't know what the heck they've been doing. But what I'll say this week is Friedel has awoken the bench. They're somehow inspired. They didn't like being called the worst team to ever exist. You've got some players that were
And
big
Lou,
names that underperformed. What's up?
Lou, name me another team that lost a week that tied, that the opponent tied in. Name me another team that did that.
It's never ever happened. We lost 4-3, but the other team tied. Yeah. It's never happened, folks. But you got two
Name
of the
me a
winners.
team that lost a tied series, bro.
Goose and I won. I have nothing to be embarrassed about over there. McLogno just chose to not even like answer or show up or anything. Turiso shows up with 30 minutes left in the playing window at like 11:30 at night. And Booty calls McLogno. That's first contact from either player. Booty call 30 minutes before the bar closes. So we had to wipe that game off. McLogno, we haven't heard from McLogno in 2 weeks. So we subbed out for High Crocs, who is invigorated. He's been yapping. And we've been ping-ponging some ideas. So John Friede, you better come ready to fight a player who may be 0-4, but is inspired. And I think ultimately, like, we're gonna live up to our name. We're gonna stand in the middle of the ring. If you guys want to go to the playoffs, you can't just tie with us. You have to beat us. You're already down 0-1. I don't know, folks. I think that this is a week for spoilers. I've been wrong like every single week, but I think this is the one week where Stand and Bang is going to go out on a high note. I feel it in my bones.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the boy who cried wolf, like 0-win team. I can't be afraid of that. It doesn't matter what you say, you hype them up. I mean, the only thing you got going for you is the 1-game lead right now. You can see what comes after.
I mean, I got
It's an
multiple.
omen, man.
I got
It's an
multiple
omen.
things.
You've been hyping your team up since start of the whole draft. Look what happened.
I have more than just the 1-0. I've got the 27-0 poll against you this week, Friedel. That's as many World Series as the Yankees have, and not a single vote against. So that's a win.
Yeah, I voted for it. I miscounted.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't see Goose. I can't see Goose losing the Daisy. I think we're gonna be able to at least get to a tie, and I think it's gonna ruin y'all's season.
And
I want to add too for the Boomers. It is a bad news that 48 was not unlucky in his games. He might have found a way
He
to
was
pass
unlucky.
that.
The Milo had 3 crits, and he still was able to overcome. We highlighted the Tauros was his win con. Just deal with the Metagross, and he executed it to perfection.
So funny. 48's always playing at such a disadvantage. Such a hard-fought player. I respect it so much. So he was unlucky and he still won. Still a bad omen for very loud Boomers. It's a sign that maybe the good luck isn't enough this week. You know, I think Stan and Bang might have just gotten the fighting god's favor on this one for putting up a good fight every week. They might be able to stand in the ring one more time and show their mettle.
Though putting up a good fight almost every week.
Yeah, against the Pirates. Yeah, I know. I'd like to not think about that one and turn a page on that chapter. All right, closing remarks. Does anybody have anything else to say here before we end?
What was the series score versus the fucking Florida Pirates?
Oh, that was a sweep. Yeah, we've already. It was a sweep. We were the cleanest team. They were the cleanest team in the league after that.
How are you in 2 teams that got swept in 08 series at the same time?
Oh, are we talking about my Frost? Dude, I could give 2 craps about Frost. That is like, bro, that is a
2
dumpster
teams.
fire. Dumpster. On fire.
2 teams you're on took 0-8 losses.
All right, I'll talk about that one then too. So you have
At some
Regulator.
point.
Regulator hasn't slotted the whole season. J Scurf now has play eligibility. He's not slotting. Dawn, I think, finally just got his first win. Like, dude, we're a train wreck. There's no other way to put it. At least the vibes are good. We've got we've got your boy. We've got the ball diddler. We've got the diddler on that team. I advocated for him. That's how bad we are. We've got ball diddle man. Oh. All right. I'm going to end it there. Next time we're back. This goes out to everybody. Next time we're back, playoff coverage. I might not be able to have 6 people on the show, but what I want to do for the playoff coverage, everybody, if you guys want to mail in your picks, I'll add them as intros. I'll add them to the videos. And then once we get to finals, when we get to finals, I am going to go to friends of mine, big name players, across the community, and I'm going to get their inputs. So it's not just going to be random cameo guy from Zimbabwe that I hired for $1. It's going to be actual big name players that are going to chime in. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's all we got for the Super Show.